Hey, what's going on, everyone? Robert from the Remote Control here today. And with me, I got actually Colton, as always. Yay, Colton.
Oh, fuck you, man. Porg.
Colton's really excited. He has porgs today. But I have actually a new guest, somebody that's never been on the show before with us today. He's a buddy of mine. I met him, I guess it was about a little more than 10 years ago, 11 years ago or so. I met this guy, this kid. He was just some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid.
He was just
from Ohio in Pittsburgh.
Wait. I'm going to jump in. This guy, this kid? You're younger than me, Bob. You're younger than me, as I recall.
Am I?
Yeah, you are.
Well, anyways, he was going to film school in Pittsburgh of some sort. Were you going for production or what was it? Anyways,
let's give him the name and then we can get into the details.
Give him the name real quick. Adam.
Skinny
I don't know if you
part
want
two.
to say your last name, but Adam. Hey, what's going on, Adam?
Hey. Yeah, it's Adam Cromes. Not that anybody needs to know, but yeah, it's Adam. Yeah, the name really doesn't matter. Like, it went away at the second I graduated anyway. They changed the program. So I went to school to learn how to make movies and stuff. That's really all that matters.
Yeah, at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly. So
you want a social security number, an address, card number?
I have like 6 siblings. I mean, how much detail do you want to get into? All right, let's
go. So I met him back. I was working at Hollywood Video as a store manager. It was my first store, and he was one of my employees. I hired him, if I remember correctly.
That is right. That's how I know you're younger than me, because I was like, this young asshole is younger than me, and he's the store manager. And shit.
No. That's probably the real story. The actual story. They were on the front lines of Vietnam, and they were.
We were goddamn Nam, man.
Agent came in, and Bob was like, "I need an umbrella," and picked you up. You chose an umbrella.
I jumped on a grenade, sacrificed my legs for Bob. That's a thing.
Thanks to Dan.
Carried you out of the woods. Went on to become a shrimp farmer.
And that's what I'm doing today. Yay.
So real quick, Adam, just let everyone since you're
all five.
All 5 now, because you're the 6th, you're usually number 6. And so let's tell all 5 people who you are just a little bit about you, what you like about movies, TV, music,
social security numbers, credit cards.
Well, you covered like a ton of it, but yeah, I'm a movie loving buff. I've been a big fan of movies and stuff since I was little. I went to school to try and learn how to do that and be the next Steven Spielberg. I kept telling everybody that I was going to be a director someday. You got a job with you at Hollywood Video. So I figured that would work. Could rent whatever I wanted to, watch whatever I wanted to while I was going to school to make that stuff. And then, I graduated with a ton of debt at the end of 2008 when the job market sort of took a dive. And I ended up in a nice, cushy, mid-level IT position. So, hey, I got that going for me. And, still watch stuff, still love movies. There's just something about that connection and that storytelling aspect that brings people together, communicate the message through film that really, really gets to me. Super deep.
All right. So you're a bigger movie fan, obviously, than TV, but do you watch any shows on TV? Are there any shows that you really enjoy?
I mean, I was a bigger movie fan than I was for TV, but that was back like 11 plus years ago. I mean, TV's taken a huge step in the last couple of years, man. Last 5 to 6 years, TV's been amazing. What with Netflix and longer running TV shows and a lot of broader choices they've been able to make on storytelling techniques. Like, TV's amazing these days.
No, I agree completely. I think you take a look at, like you said, what Netflix has done, House of Cards, Stranger Things, Orange is the New Black, as well as many other shows.
Just Netflix in general.
Then you have shows like Westworld on, what is that, HBO? Or
HBO. Promo. New season for Westworld coming out soon.
Yeah, not soon enough.
Heard a hero remote control confirmed canon.
I'm actually being paid by Westworld to promote them on your podcast. So.
Oh wow.
That's right.
Hey, we're sponsored by. Here's a little callback. We're sponsored by Domino's Pizza,
but we're not.
Domino's Pizza. But send us some coupons, my guy.
But we're not. No, yeah, honestly, though, you're right. Like TV has gotten really, really great over the past 5-10 years, and honestly, ever since the writers strike back, what was it, 2000 and I want to say 2010,
Yeah.
whatever. That was like after that, everything just kind of blew up for television. So that's been kind of nice going on there. But enough about you, because nobody really cares, I don't think. So.
Right.
We just lost our other 5 viewers.
I'm going to jump in. There's some things we're going to cover real quick. There's going to be a little bit about music this week. Obviously, Foo Fighters album came out. I just want to talk a little bit about it. I know I was geeking out about it last week. We finally got to hear it on Friday, so I've kind of soaked it all up over the weekend. I'll talk about that. I did watch The Orville, which is Seth MacFarlane's new show.
Which is a weird show about popcorn.
Hate you. The Emmys were this past Sunday, so I want to talk about that as well, because there's some surprises and disappointments, I think, that came from the Emmys. I'm not going to go through the entire list because it'd just be boring. You could have watched the Emmys and figured it out, or go on any website and find out the winners.
But I'm happy that you chose to come to us.
Yes, thank you. I will talk a little bit about some movie news. some movie news. I've been flubbing up all day.
Yeah.
But
worse than I do, man.
Movie news, got some Star Wars stuff, Man of Steel, and some other things. And then we're going to get into a new segment today. I'm just calling it simply Movie Pitch, where each one of us is going to pitch a new universe, movie or universe, something like that, that we could pitch to any movie production company out there, and maybe they'll listen to us.
Hopefully, under the bridge media.
Yeah, there we go.
Nudge, nudge, self-plug there.
So to start things off, like I said, I'm going to talk about music a little bit. Foo Fighters' new album, Concrete and Gold, came out, and I just want to give a few thoughts of the album. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a fantastic album. I really do. I've seen a lot of reviews where people were upset about it. I think people weren't expecting it to be as different as it actually is. Sky is a Neighborhood is the song that we played last week, just a part of it, and I think that it's an excellent song. It's kind of trippy. It's different. It sounds Foo Fighters, but a little bit not. So I really like that. But once you really get into that album, you start to hear a lot of different types of sounds from the Foo Fighters. Like there's a song called La Di Da, and at first, like right in the beginning, I'm like, why does it sound like Nine Inch Nails? But then it transitions, and it's like really a strong Foo Fighters song. This might be the only song on the album that sounds like original Foo Fighters, like, traditional Foo Fighters, not traditional Foo Fighters. But again, it started off and it sounded like an industrial rock band in the beginning. Sunday Rain, which man, there's two songs on this album that just really grabbed my attention. Sunday Rain is one of them. Imagine the Rolling Stones and a Roger Waters Pink Floyd having a baby, and with Paul McCartney on the drums, and that's what you get with the song. And
that is
it's a funky beat.
Bob, please stop. I can only be so erect.
The beat's really funky. Taylor Hawkins, who's the actual drummer for the Foo Fighters, is actually singing this song while Paul McCartney drums. And I tell you what, Hawkins, I didn't think he had a voice like that. Like, I've seen interviews with him. He just seems like, cool guy, just a drummer, backup vocals from time to time. He's got a good voice, and it really reminds me, it harkens back to like David Gilmour a little bit, I feel, just in my opinion. And then the final song I'm going to talk about is Concrete and Gold, which is, the name of the album, but that's the final song on that soundtrack, or not soundtrack, that album. It's the final song. And whether they meant for it to sound like this or not, I don't know. I'm sure they did. But again, it's got a huge feel of Pink Floyd to it, of Brain Damage and Eclipse from Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album. It's so good. It's so amazing. It's just, I don't know. You close your eyes, you just sit there and listen to it. It just kind of takes you away, and that's what I love about albums. An album for me, like if I can sit down, turn it on, close my eyes, and I can picture a story in my head with it, to me, that's a good album. And I think the Foo Fighters did just that with this new album of theirs. So yeah, I know, Colton, you didn't get to hear the entire thing, but what did you think about it?
I definitely picked up the Floyd vibes from it. And then, This Guy's Neighborhood is just my favorite song right now. I can see the inspiration from other bands in the album.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that they're experimenting and doing something different.
Yeah, again, every band I've seen from time to time. I mean, you have Nine Inch Nails, Megadeth, Metallica, these bigger bands that are rock bands and stuff. They experiment from time to time. They want to try something different. They don't always want to do the same thing, and I give them credit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it didn't for Metallica with Saint Anger. That album was horrible. As for Megadeth, I think Megadeth their big experimental album was Risk. I think that album's a great album. Foo Fighters is Concrete and Gold, and I think they did an excellent job with it, and I hope they continue branching out. Here's the thing, that Foo Fighters kind of experimented earlier, about 10, not even 10 years ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago, and where they did the all acoustic album, like the dual album where part of it was acoustic and part of it was a complete rock album. That was kind of a different thing to do, so I liked it. I don't know, but if you haven't, check it out. You can find all the songs on YouTube or just Spotify it,
or here at the remote control.
No, you can't. Or you can
go
covers
of them.
Or you can go buy the album at your local store.
Or iTunes.
Who buys albums anymore?
I'm not gonna lie, I consider buying this one.
Yeah, I the only albums I actually buy, I buy soundtracks, especially the Star Wars ones. Like
nerd.
After episode 7 came out, I went, saw the movie, left the theater, went and bought the soundtrack. Rogue One, went and saw the movie the next day, went out, bought the soundtrack.
Nerd.
Yeah, I know. Can't help it.
I definitely bought the soundtrack for the.
For what?
I think no one buys anything anymore these days unless it's to support the band. And yeah, I think if you like Foo Fighters, then you're going to go out and buy the album, right?
No, absolutely. I think people download stuff more than anything now, or use Spotify, because that's my main tool for music is Spotify. I know not everything is on there, but I have over 2,000 songs on Spotify that I got, and I'm okay with that. So
Titty buys albums.
Yes, you have a Porg. If you saw our Facebook Live video today, you saw that we went to Target and bought Porgs.
We went to Walmart first and missed it.
That's exactly what they sound like.
Yeah, low quality audio feed tracks.
I'm going to jump into some television stuff. I checked out the show The Orville. I watched the first 2 episodes this week.
Did you watch that Popcorn Pop?
And
I'm glad you ignored that.
I'm still unsure how I feel about the show. I mean, Seth McFarlane, come on, he's Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show.
He's not a serious
person.
Ted
2. He's made good stuff. Whether I'm more of I was a huge Family Guy fan years ago. I think it's kind of fallen off over the past 5-6 years. American Dad, I think, was hilarious. I don't even know if it's still making new episodes or not. Cleveland Show, I thought, was horrible from the beginning. Ted was good. Ted 2, I think, was better than the first Ted. I don't know if I'm the only one like that. I don't know. Did you see either one of those, Adam?
I saw both. I would have to agree that Ted 2 was phenomenal.
Yeah, I feel it was better. So I was going into this, and we haven't seen Seth MacFarlane, with the exception of A Million Ways to Die in the West. We haven't seen him actually act, be the main live action actor.
Guy.
And I thought A Million Ways to Die in the West.
He's the main guy in Family Guy and such.
We didn't catch that, man. I'm sorry. What was that?
You're talking about physically acting, right?
Yeah, physically acting. Yeah. Live action, because he did A Million Ways to Die in the West, which I thought was not good at all. So that kind of worried me for The Orville a little bit, because the last time we saw him really in live action was that movie, and it wasn't that good. So, here's my thing. When they were promoting it, it looked to be a spoof of Star Trek or of all the space opera, sci-fi movies and TV shows that we've had in the past. And again, most recognizably, it takes from Star Wars: The Next Generation. There are some nods to Star Wars, the original Star Trek, and I believe there was even a nod to Battlestar. I'm not a big Battlestar Galactic fan, but if I'm smart enough, I probably picked out one. I think I picked out one moment where it was a nod to Battlestar. And I did chuckle a few times. However, the show I felt was supposed to be a comedy, and most of it kind of just falls flat. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to be a comedy, And
we're on Facebook Live, by the way, Bob.
Thanks.
And I can't zoom out my phone.
So I sit there and think, is it trying to be a sci-fi show? Is it trying to be a comedy? I don't really know. I want others to comment on this because I don't really know. You having fun over there, Colton?
We had 2 viewers that couldn't zoom out. It was like most of your boob.
So I don't know. I hope that they fix it. I will stick around for episode 3. I think that it left enough for me to be like, okay, I'll give it one more episode. But if after episode 3, if it hasn't found its footing and what it wants to be, I don't think I'm going to continue watching it. At least that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that was my fear with that show from the beginning, is I didn't know how they were going to sustain that and make that into an entire season, let alone a couple seasons of an actual show.
Yeah. I mean, the special effects, I get
only so much parody you can do, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily try to be a complete parody. In a way, it tries to be its own thing, but for some reason, at times it looks like it's trying to be a parody. You know, so it doesn't know what it wants to be. If it would pick one, I think that's the way it would be best handled, is what I think. So, Colton's too busy Facebook living the event here. So
sorry, my bad. I'm trying to promote us. Whoa.
I don't mind you promoting.
I don't know how I'd feel about the TV show, honestly. It just doesn't strike me as something I'd watch.
Okay.
Nah.
I give it a chance. I just don't know how they're going to do an entire season. Like you're saying, if they find their footing, it sounds like something that they could do well at. It's just a matter of them trying to figure out whether they're taking it seriously or whether they're just going to be doing a bunch of fart jokes the entire time in certain space.
Yeah, true. And there are some fart jokes from time to time, or similar, you know, not necessarily fart jokes, but fart-like jokes. And it's, again, to me, that wasn't funny. There were some funny parts in it. The more intelligent humor is what I enjoyed in it. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna give it one more episode.
A sort of type to mirror itself after, I'd say probably go more Firefly, because that was a semi-serious space comedy that worked really, really well and was also hysterical at times. So they could probably do that, only a little bit funnier, and be successful. They just need to.
Yeah, I never got into Firefly, unfortunately. I know people, oh my goodness, don't hate. I couldn't really get into it. So
no hate. We just can't be friends anymore. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I remember when we were working in Hollywood Video, you tried to get me to watch watch it then. Didn't Serenity come out while we were working together too?
Yeah. Exactly what got me into Firefly in the first place is I saw Serenity for the first time working at Hollywood Video, because I had to preview that for the customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't even know what this is. It's gonna be stupid, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, you know. Again, hopefully it turns out to be a decent show. Then again, I watch so much TV. I don't think I could add another show full time to my list of TV shows that I watch. But
I don't have time to watch TV.
What was that? Adam.
I said I hear those feels. Like I'm super busy all the time. I don't have enough time to watch every episode of every show that I'm trying to follow.
Yeah.
I just watched Flash not too long ago, so.
Yeah, there's so many shows I need. There's shows I need to catch up on that I haven't seen that everybody talks about. Literally, it took me. I just got caught up on Game of Thrones last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god!
I binged 4 seasons in the span of a week and a half.
I skipped 6.5.
Oh, that's rough.
So I'm gonna jump to the next thing because segues suck. And
no, you can't use that. That's mine.
No, you said segues are stupid.
Well, whatever.
They're
why don't we use them? Just abruptly just start.
Just start, yeah. So like I said, Sunday was the Emmys. A few things I want to say which surprised me a little bit. Outstanding drama. The Handmaid's Tale won. It went up against Westworld, This Is Us, Stranger Things, and House of Cards.
I've never heard of 3 of those things.
Those 4 shows. Those 4 shows right there should have been the only ones that were really considered. I did actually watch an episode of The Handmaid's Tale, just an episode, so I can't really give a fair, assessment on the show.
Well, it probably sucks.
But it's just not for me. The other 2 are Better Call Saul and The Crown that were nominated. Better Call Saul is a good show. I don't know why it would be for outstanding drama, and I didn't watch The Crown at all. But I haven't heard many good things about The Crown. I've heard
Some may say it goes on someone's head.
I've heard that it's pretty much all like on the shoulders of one person in that of Claire Foy. She's like, if it wasn't for Claire Foy, the actress Claire Foy, the show would just fall apart. So I never even was interested in watching The Crown. But come on, Stranger Things was a phenomenon. Like that show should have won. Those kids were phenomenal. Everything about that show was good. I can't.
It happened too early in the year.
Maybe. I mean, that's possible.
That's probably what hurt the push.
Westworld is another one. I thought Westworld was fantastic. That's a little more divisive. There's some people who really liked Westworld and the J.J. Abrams-esque type of twist and stuff in it. Some people didn't. So I understand that. This Is Us, that was huge. No, everybody talked about This Is Us this past year. Like that again, I don't understand how we're choosing.
About This Is Us.
And then House of Cards. I don't think House of Cards should have won, but it's a fantastic show. See, another shocking thing, not shocking, but for outstanding lead actor in a drama, you had Anthony Hopkins from Westworld. You had Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul, Matthew Rice from The Americans, Liev Schreiber from Ray Donovan, Kevin Spacey from House of Cards, Milo Ventimiglia from This Is Us. I can't say his last name, so sorry if I screwed it up. And then Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us. Sterling K. Brown won for This Is Us. I'm actually okay with that. I think that is, out of all of the winners and losers that I saw from that is the one that makes the most sense. I think it was between Milo and Sterling, which both of them are from This Is Us, and they both did fantastic. I would have been happy if either one of them won, but it makes the most sense. Everything else, as I look through the list, just anger me, like just absolutely anger me. Like, I'm sorry.
You better apologize. You upset a lot of viewers. All 4 of them.
All 4 of you. Yeah, we lost one, didn't we?
So we're talking about the Emmys as a whole, right?
Yeah.
There was I didn't watch the Emmys, and I've heard some good things here or there, and you make a lot of really good points. I still agree that Stranger Things and Westworld should have been acknowledged and won over Handmaid's Tale personally. Yeah. But one thing I did read that I thought was really good is that one lady from The Master of None, I forget her name, Lena Wraith or something. She won for writing, right? I think she did a great job.
I actually haven't watched that show, so I can't. No, I really can't talk about that. So
I've watched it. It's really, really good. I would definitely highly suggest it for any of the 4 listeners who are still out there, and give that a try.
4.5. I heard someone's lower body. Like they just put the headphones on the hips of the dead body and they listen.
What?
Oh. How we get to Bernie?
Let's see. The next topic here. Movies. Hey, movies. This is a subject we all like now. I'm actually going to let Colton take this one here because it was some pretty big news in Star Wars, and he's the host of Star Wars Talk. So
hey.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wish I had a cup of cheer to you. J.J. Abrams is now directing and writing episode 9 and not Colin Trevorrow.
And it also, the release date got pushed back to.
Oh, yeah. The release date got pushed back to. The release date wasn't as big as the J.J. Abrams news.
I mean, Colton, you and I talked ad nauseum about this in Star Wars Talk this week. So, Adam, I actually want to get your opinion on this because I know you're a big Star Wars fan, as I am. I want to get your opinion on J.J. Abrams coming into the fold and, finishing what he started in Episode 7.
Well, I mean, I think Episode 7 breathed new life into the franchise. It brought back practical effects and it brought back good storytelling. I do think it was a bit rushed and there were some issues there, but I thought it was a really, really good onboarding point. I'm perfectly fine with J.J. Abrams coming back on for the last movie. People have been really, really upset about it online, it seems like. I think they're worried that he's just going to rehash the Star Wars movies to begin with, but I'm personally not afraid of that. I think he's going to do fine. I think he's going to take it in different directions, and I look forward to seeing what he does with it. And I think it's too early to judge. We haven't even seen the next movie, so we don't know what that tone's going to be like without him at the helm. Maybe it's going to be a big POS, and at the end of it, people are going to be clamoring for him to come back. So who knows?
Boy, the 3 people in the world right now that are happy that JJ Abrams is taking over.
Yeah, I know that. I talked about wanting to have either Rian Johnson come back or even have somebody as great as Steven Spielberg jump in and take over. But they talked to Rian Johnson. They offered it to him. He turned it down, and it makes sense because he's tired. He's been working on Star Wars for the past 2.5 years. Once he would finally put the final cut in the theater's hands, he literally would have to jump on and start doing stuff for Episode 9. He would have no break at all. So he wants a break. I don't blame him. And Steven Spielberg, like I said, I would love to have him, but he's so busy right now, especially with post-production on Ready Player One.
Why not get Michael Bay?
Because we don't want Michael Bay.
Why not?
Why would you want Michael Bay?
Sure, if you want a lot of pan shots and explosions for no reasons, let's get Michael Bay in there. It sounds like a good plan.
Just every character, that's the whole movie. Every character gets one scene, and they just explode.
Slow motion with planes flying over.
Pan shot. What's going on here? You need to think about this intensely.
Optimus Prime makes an appearance.
The crossover event of the century.
Come on now. There's
Transformers will feature laser swords. Gonna be fine.
10, 11, and 12 right there. They fight the Transformers.
I honestly, I'm okay with it. There's a petition out there. I know people need to just get over it. You can hear my rant about that on Star Wars Talk this week. But again, I don't think there's any issue. I think JJ coming back is the safe bet. I think it's the best way to go. When you can't get somebody as big as like a Spielberg, you go to what's safe, what's comfortable. I get people's worries about him not being able to finish a movie or a franchise. He's never really had a big finish. He's really good at setting things up. But, ending a movie and stuff like that has been his biggest problem. And again, that's how he is. But that's why I think they brought Chris Terrio in to help write. And that's where people are really getting worried because they're like, Chris Terrio wrote Batman vs. Superman and Martha. People are getting upset about that. What people need to realize and understand is Chris Terrio was brought into Batman vs. Superman after the fact and to help fix and rewrite Bruce Wayne's dialogue when it comes to Bruce Wayne or Batman talking to like Alfred or Superman and stuff like that. That Martha scene was not Chris Terrio. So people need to realize that, and hopefully they get over the fact. If you want a good judgment on Terrio, is look at Argo. That movie is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's award-winning. He wrote that. Watch that. That's the kind of writing he does. And that's what he's going to bring to Star Wars. So
I'm just disappointed I had to turn down Disney. They came to me. They wanted me to write and direct Episode 9. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
That's big stuff.
Busy podcasting with my bro.
Yeah, bomb porgs and partying. Airsoft.
You need any of that dirty Disney money when you're rolling in the Domino's promotionary stuff.
Exactly. I come home and I get the cinnamon nuts and I just rub them on my chest, smack myself in the face with a breadstick. Yeah, I've been a filthy little pizza boy.
Don't need your damn Disney cash. I'm good.
Yeah. Just walk around with pepperoni on my nipples all day. I wear pizza thongs. How do you party?
Pepperoni pasties. That is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, but anybody have anything else on the hiring of Abrams at all?
We covered this for almost an hour in Star Wars Talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fine. I know you asked my opinion. I think it's fine with him coming back and something that he's helped to reboot and sort of put new life into, like I said before. I think people were upset because I don't know, because they think he's rehashing things. But then I saw something about them wanting George Lucas to come back. No, and it's like, you want to talk about rehashing.
That was fans trying to get George Lucas to come back. I don't know why they were trying to. Like, I get the idea and the nostalgia, but let him go. Let him go right now. Yeah.
Then you'll complain.
Yeah, I give it to Abrams or Lucas any day of the week, personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. All right. So I am going to actually have a cool little instance that's happening here on the remote control. This doesn't happen very often, but Buddy just tagged me in Facebook, and whenever he tags me in something, I always have to take a look at it. I don't normally look at Facebook while I'm podcasting, but I had to look at it when
Bob's
he does.
being a bad podcaster right now.
But
Sure.
it looks like there's an exclusive that the DC Extended Universe Facebook page got. They've been told that Warner Brothers and DC Films and Chris McKay, who's going to be directing the Nightwing movie, has found their Nightwing in actor Finn Wittrock. Finn Wittrock. We can additionally say the Teen Titans are expected to feature in supporting roles as well. Now, I'm trying to pull up here real quick who Finn Wittrock is, because I don't know who he is. He doesn't look familiar at all. He's a 32-year-old actor, which kind of makes sense if you think about the age difference between Bruce Wayne and and what Dick Grayson would be. So that kind of works, I think. Let's see. He was in La La Land. I didn't know that. His biggest movie was La La Land. He was also in the movie Noah. And he was on a Disney movie, Halloween Town High.
Looks like he was in a lot of.
A lot of what? I'm sorry, he broke up there.
Looks like he's in a lot of American Horror Story too. Maybe not a big movie career. Maybe they pulled him from TV.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. Criminal Minds, there was an episode of that. Law and Order, Masters of Sex. So,
hey, a rare occasion. An update happened during the show, and we didn't have to wait till after the show.
Exactly. I'm actually kind of excited about it. I guess he looks the part. I guess he could pull off being Dick Grayson. I don't know. I don't know if you see a picture of him there, but why not?
Looks like he'd have to get way more muscular.
I mean, they still haven't. They have yet to announce a release date for it. They have yet to officially announce the Nightwing movie. So it'll be interesting to find out. But if the fact of the matter is they got an actor for the role of Nightwing, so you have to think that they're close, right? I
mean, they could be.
They're close to getting a bunch of names together so they can start getting funding for it. But other than that, we'll see how it gets off the ground.
Because I know, like Shazam, the Shazam movie wasn't supposed to start really production until like March, but it looks like they fast tracked it. I think the new timeline has it starting production at some point before the end of the year. You have Suicide Squad 2 that's supposed to start production in like February or March or April, somewhere around there. So maybe they just kind of moved Shazam to start now, like this year, and then they're going to move and put Nightwing in where that was going to start. Who knows? I don't know. I just hope we get some news soon, because I'm a huge fan of the DC Extended Universe. I want it to build and build and build, and I want to see more and crazy things. And
see a Star Wars crossover.
No.
What?
But speaking of
Avengers versus the Jedi Council.
That would be awesome.
Speaking of the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe, Matthew Vaughn has confirmed that he is in talks to direct Man of Steel 2. I'm a huge Matthew Vaughn fan. I loved X-Men First Class. Absolutely loved X-Men First Class. I loved Kick-Ass. I love The Kingsman. I don't think if you're not going to get Zack Snyder, Matthew Vaughn is the next person in line, I think, to direct this movie. I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Matthew Vaughn, Adam?
Well, I don't know Matthew Vaughn that well as a name, but if you're talking about The Kingsman and Kick-Ass, then hell yeah. Those are a bunch of offbeat superhero things that I think could really liven up some of the DCEU. So yeah, go for it.
Simple answer. I like it. Colton, you have no idea. You're not going to say anything, are you?
I can say something because I've seen those movies, and those movies are phenomenal. So it can't be any worse than not having someone.
He's better than not a guy. I like that. That works.
Sounded better in my head than out loud.
He's better than no guy. All right. Yeah,
I'm not wrong.
No,
I'm not wrong. That's the thing.
No, yeah, we can't claim you're wrong there. No, you got that.
Yeah, so I think I hope they get a deal done with him. See, what I want to see is in 2019, I want to see a Man of Steel, a Batman, and a Wonder Woman movie in 2019. All three of them, and you just spread them out. You do maybe Man of Steel like in March, and then you put Batman in the summer, like May, June, July, somewhere around there, and then you have Wonder Woman at the end of the year, November, December. I know right now it's set as December, but I think they're going to push it back to November because of Star Wars. But I think that's what they need to do. If they did that in 2019, if they had the big three each have a standalone movie in 2019, DC would completely destroy Marvel that year.
Probably.
Completely destroy.
Well, 2019 isn't that Infinity War.
Infinity War. No, not 2. No, that comes out in 2020.
So
Yeah.
there's no like big one coming out then.
No, I don't think so.
So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, jeez, man. All right, now this is something
I thought Infinity War was coming out.
This is something you wanted to talk about in movie news. So this past week this movie came out? So this week or 2 weeks ago?
It.
No, not It. Leatherface.
You want to talk about it? We could talk
What are we talking about?
Well, first we're going to talk about Leatherface because you wanted to talk about Leatherface.
Oh yeah, it was like it was so reviewed, like it was reviewed that it was so bad. I'm kind of curious to see how bad it is.
Did it come out yet or no?
No, there's like reviews on stuff.
Okay.
So I'm assuming.
See, when
IGN gave a review that it was like so bad that everybody should see it just to see what a bad movie is.
because when it comes to horror movies, I don't.
Yeah,
pay
you're
much
not a slut
attention.
for horror
So
films.
I just kind of. But I did see it, and we talked about it all last week. We had our review and everything last week. But did you see it, Adam?
Yeah, I saw it. It was great. It was fantastic, and it was. I can't do that anymore. The 80s are making a big. The 80s are making a big resurgence, and I think that's fantastic. And the thing I forgot about is how fucking resilient kids are in the 80s, because you can get your arm broken, threatened with a knife, and all this other jazz, and everyone's smoking. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
80s.
compared to the snowflakes of today. Yeah.
Whoa. Just because I'm the youngest one here, I don't want to hear it. I'm not no snowflake. If I'm not mistaken, you took a BB to the tailbone and you're still crying about
It wasn't my tailbone. It was the middle of my back. And you were
Whatever.
like a foot and a half away.
Well, wait. Quit being a snowflake.
With I hate you.
Oh.
All right, so that's all for the news. Don't want to really get into anything else.
Yeah,
news-wise,
no,
'cause
Leatherface is
nothing else
awful,
really-
but I want to see it.
No, then you can give us a review because I'm not seeing it. All right, so that was a great segue there.
Segways are weird.
Segues are weird today.
Man, did you hear that time hop? It was crazy. We just like teleported or something. It was crazy.
All right, so we have a new segment I wanted to try out this week. I know I've been throwing different segments in, week by week, trying different things.
We're proud
What
of you.
If. We did, Robert's rant last week, which was fun. This week I want to do something that I think is going to be kind of fun to do from time to time. It's called Movie Pitch. Woo! I wish we had a yay sound effect.
Wait,
of
hold on.
Or you gonna do the porg? So
These
movie.
things are so.
Bring that porg, because that thing sounds awful.
Yes, he's playing with his porg. It sounds ridiculous.
That's why I like saying titty. I'm playing with titty. Okay.
Place that podcast.
All right. So movie pitch.
Cue
Gonna get into
70s
this here.
porno music.
Movie pitch is simply this. I want each of you to pitch a movie franchise, universe, however you want to do it. You pick a property that is not a known property right now. So not the DCEU, not Star Wars, not Marvel, not a universe that is currently being used in film or TV.
So I know I picked mine a little bit ago. By a little bit ago, I mean last night. Can I use the film I'm trying to film right now and pitch it to you?
Sure, it could be whatever you want.
Okay.
It could be anything, but I want you to pitch it as well as you can, like you're sitting in front of a couple movie execs trying to sell your idea.
Hold on.
So I think Colton's gonna go first here because he's getting all ready, putting his hat backwards.
No, I had to be Ash Ketchum. I don't want to go first. I'll go middle.
First? You want to go middle?
Yes. I want to be the centipede part of the human centipede.
Adam, did you want to go first? I don't care who goes first. I can go
off.
first. Mine's not going to be great though. So.
But that's all up to you guys. You want me to go?
Go for it. Yeah, you can go.
Guess first.
There's this game called Mass Effect, and it's a fantastic. No, honestly,
it's okay.
I believe you were going to be doing Mass Effect, and that is one of my favorite game series. So if you weren't going to do that, I was totally going to sneak that away from you.
No, go ahead. I'll pitch my movie.
All right. Well, I'll do the one that I came up with on the fly. So if you change your mind last minute, you can go ahead and have that as a backup. But side note, Mass Effect should totally be made into something. But mine was going to be based on a book series, and it has a lot of depth and a lot of one-off books and a lot of material that you could turn into a movie series or a live-action, like 1 hour TV drama / comedy thing that goes on like a Netflix or a Hulu. It's based on the Harry Dresden series. Now, Sci-Fi tried to do something with this property several years ago, and it sort of fell flat. There are a lot of things they tried to update and make more accessible to the audience that just didn't really work. But the main premise is that there's this wizard detective who goes around and he's openly telling the public that he's a wizard, and no one really gives that the time of day or believes that that's true. But he actually is a wizard and does a lot of really interesting things, makes a lot of pop culture references, and harkens back to, kind of like Ready Player One, that movie that's coming out soon. It's a lot of 80s and pop culture references from that time. There's a lot of interplay with vampires and werewolves, and a lot of really, really good comedy and a lot of in-depth, cool action that happens. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. It's sort of like True Blood that doesn't suck and is detective procedural, so you can get some stuff in there if you need to. And there's a lot of overarching storylines that you can do from season to season or from movie to movie, and a lot of stuff that you can draw from source material to really, really make something great and that can expand the fan base and create something solid. I do think it's going to be a good property, and I don't know how to end this other than I think that you should buy it as people that I'm pushing it on, I guess. So there you go.
All those movies execs that listen to our podcast.
I have no money, but I can offer you one cough drop.
I will start the production free of cost as long as I get some Domino's coupons. Do you have any access to those? So
I will totally let you eat from the G string of my wait, what?
I gotta eat from Colton's G string. I'm good. I'm gonna leave that on the table.
All right, so Colton, he did not take Mass Effect. Are you going to take Mass Effect?
No, I'm going to pitch my movie.
All right.
Even though I'm pretty much pitching it to myself because it's pretty much going to be in production here soon. Okay. There was a vibration in it here. So, the dark monster universe with the mummy.
Yes,
but they tried to start. Well, you want to create one that doesn't suck? Well, here you go. I have this idea. We're going to create our own universe here. We're going to start it at the brink of the apocalypse. The world leaders are all gathered around. They're all arguing. We don't know why. But then we zoom out and we see different skirmishes. Different soldiers getting shot down. Not necessarily shot down, but like lightning bolts and stuff like that. We don't know what's shooting at them yet. And then we zoom out. We zoom into a bunch of Marines. They're in the woods. They go inside a temple and they fight off werewolves and vampires and the undead. The army of hell, you find out, has risen. And they reach the middle of the temple. What's in there? That's for you to find out after you buy this movie. You can make its own universe. You can focus on different creatures. You can focus on different story arcs. You can make it a romance.
See,
all of that.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here because I'm playing Mr. Movie exec. Wow, I can't talk.
Well, you already broke character.
So I'm Mr. Movie exec. Who is your hero or protagonist?
You will find that out. Because she is.
What kind of movie pitch is this?
She is in the temple.
Okay. What is the character's everyday life?
You're reading right from that article, aren't you?
Yeah.
What was the question?
What is the character's everyday life at the beginning of the film?
She is currently floating in a tank of molten mercury.
Why are we going to feel empathy towards her?
That's what the second movie would be.
Wouldn't she be mercury poisoning?
What?
Wouldn't she be suffering from mercury poisoning?
She's dead. But she doesn't know she's dead.
What opportunity is presented to that hero at the 10% point that will get the story going?
Okay, so the first movie, what I just pitched to you, is modern day. It's going to be a short film, maybe a TV special. Second film, we got second film,
Christmas special.
Hell yeah! So second film, we go back in time. Okay, we go back to the 1600s. She's a princess of a kingdom.
Okay,
she's accused of witchcraft from someone jealous wants the throne.
Okay.
She gets then taken from scientists. I'm using air quotations for those who can't see. From scientists, and they experiment on her. Her loved one is coming for her, and she's holding out with the experimentation and whatnot, waiting for him to show up. But he doesn't make it, and she dies during the experimentation. She doesn't understand that she's dead though, because like the experimentation made her undead. Like they use different, we'll say blood magic, and she doesn't understand that she's dead. Back in this time, she rose the army of hell and almost killed everybody on Earth. But some knights sealed her in mercury and put her in that temple, and the world continued to be as the world was. So that's why the first movie takes place on the brink of the apocalypse.
Okay. So what is the conflict though? What is the conflict? What's going to drive? What's the conflict, and what is the MacGuffin of this franchise?
We are trying to help her. Like, the characters are trying to understand what's happening in the world. They don't understand, like, why are we fighting zombies? They're fake. They're only in movies. But I haven't really gotten this far in real life, IRL. I haven't made the third film yet. Haven't written it yet. Ancestor of her loved one, maybe, that, in her head, she sees her loved one. And that's when, she realizes she's dead and everything goes to peace. So she's just trying to find where she's at in her life, like in the world. She doesn't understand what she is or what she's doing.
Like most millennials and snowflakes these days.
Or Bob.
All right. I mean, I like it. I think it needs a little work. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I'm polishing up the turd.
Polish it up a little bit. I'm not saying it's a turd. I'm just saying it needs a little work. He went and took Adam over here. Went and took an established franchise, and I don't need to ask him all the questions because it's probably already answered.
Much easier to do. There's all that stuff there. I could definitely draw on any of those questions. So yeah, you're just coming off the cuff. So that's really good stuff for that.
I'm actually going to take the same route that Colton took.
Oh, wait, is this the one I know about?
I've been mulling around this idea for this specific idea for probably about 2 years now. I've started writing it multiple times. But this is my pitch for it. Okay. What I think would be really cool is, all right, let's see here. Okay. So movie starts off outer space. You're in outer space. You're in a ship. You're on the bridge of this ship. There's a man, very regal looking, in the captain's chair. Alarms start going off. Guy goes, Captain, what should we do? What's our next move, type of thing, and he goes, we need to find a place to hide. This war's getting out of hand. So you're like, what the hell's going on? There's a war going on. What's going on? So he's like, there's a war. This war's getting out of hand. We need to get somewhere safe to protect the people. He's like, start searching for for a safe haven in the galaxy. So they're searching for coordinates. As that happens, boom, boom, the ship starts getting hit. Everything starts going crazy. And you hear, sir, here, this place. And up on a screen, a picture of the planet Earth pops up. But obviously they don't call it Earth. They call it, Sector 67972, something. I don't know.
Porg.
Make up something crazy.
Porg.
So they then say, okay, set coordinates to there. We're gonna go there. So they end up going there. They fly to there. They escape the attack and they fly to Earth. The problem is when they get to Earth, they don't want to be detected. So what they decide to do is they decide to actually go underground, and they start to build a civilization within the crust of the Earth.
So like Middle Earth type style.
No, think of, and this is going to be crazy because some people are going to think it's a bit weird that I'm saying it like this, but think of the Hollow Earth theory. That
That's why I meant
hollow earth theory, where there's literally people living inside the center of the earth. Okay. So that's what they do. They go into the center of the earth, and you start to find out that this guy who is a captain, he's actually the king of a civilization, a humanoid civilization. They look just like humans, and they came to Earth, and there was a great galactic war going on, and they escaped this great galactic war to save as many humans as they possibly could. They came to Earth. They then set up base inside the center of the Earth. The king, who was the captain, he's now called the king, gets a distress call that there are some survivors that need help. He speaks to his first in command, and they decide, what, this is the best course of action. Definitely go for it. Go see if you can save those people. So the king decides to go himself. He wants to go because he wants to see what destruction has happened in the galaxy, what is going on. So he decides that he's going to leave. However, shortly before all that happens, he and his wife have a child, and the child is not known to the public. The public do not know that they have this child because they're afraid of spies and people trying to infiltrate their little home that they have. While nothing has happened over these years yet, they're still afraid of it. So they keep it hush hush that they have this child. So only a few select people know about this child. So, there's a little scene where he says goodbye to his wife, his kid. He flies off into space to go save these the survivors. He leaves his first in command in control. All right. And the first in command, we'll name her Lucy, because that's what I want to name her Lucy. She's in command of everything now. She's kind of overseeing everything. While she's overseeing everything, she decides to start taking matters into her own hands and starts changing the way that everything is run. Now, I know I'm skipping a little bit here, but the king has high priests that help keep the religion and the sanctity of life and everything like that going. So they're kind of the ones that go out into the public and speak to the public and keep everybody happy and stuff like that. But they're starting to get upset about what Lucy is doing to everything. She's kind of ruining a lot of different things that the king has set up. Well, they then get word that the kingship was destroyed and the king is dead. So, dun, dun, dun. So Lucy then goes full force and is like, all right, things are going to start changing, and it starts changing for the worse, and it's just getting worse and worse. So the priests decide, all right, we need to hide the king's child. The king's child is a rightful heir, but not ready yet. So we need to hide the child. So they go and hide the child. But as time progresses over the years, over 10, 15, 20 years, things just get so bad that they just, living inside the earth is not worth it anymore. So there's a group of people who actually move above Earth, above the core, and start to live on the surface of the Earth. And they're living life, but the problem is the only way that they can live life is on the run, hiding from Lucy and her cohorts now, her military and everything like that. So they're on the run the entire time. However, there's talk, and they always talk about, the king will come back someday. The king will be back, that kind of thing. That's what they talk about all the time. And the child, we then start to get into the child, and the child, we jump up, 20 years or so after that point. And the child is now the main protagonist of the film. It's a she. Her name, I'll say Alice. And she's kind of, she's just living a regular life on the run, being taught all about the king and everything, has no idea that the king was her father, has no idea that the former queen, who is still living inside the earth, is her mother. But she, is trying to live a life as best she can. Well, one day they come across a temple that was built there early on, right after the king landed. And her and her friend come across a temple, and while she's there, a door just opens up when she's there, and she enters in the doorway, and then things just start to go crazy for her. Things just start, happening. Things start, what's going on? Why are, what is she starting to learn more, find different things out? She's seeing symbols that she feels that she should know, but, she doesn't necessarily understand, and different things like that in this temple. And, they go and question one of the priests that are on the run, that are always with them. And the priest goes, okay, I think you're old enough to know this. You are you're the next, blah, 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 that kind of thing. You're supposed to be the ruler of this civilization and everything like that. But she doesn't want it. No, I don't want it. The typical hero's journey type of thing, where they, at first it's like, okay, I'm a nobody. I don't know who I am. I think there's more for me out there, but I don't really know. Well, there is more for you. Well, I don't want that. That's a little much. And she starts to come into it a little bit, but she wants to investigate more. So they go back to the temple. And when they go into the temple, they go inside and they come across the people that live, the people that they're on the run from, the ones that live under the earth's surface. And when they run into them, things start to get crazy because, they're trying to get captured. They're trying to run away, that kind of stuff. And a dagger that Lucy has, she goes to, to injure the girl or Alice with. And when she tries to do it, it actually doesn't injure her at all. It doesn't hurt her at all. And Lucy's all weirded out, like, what is going on? This is, the most powerful weapon that, that we've had here, that kind of stuff. So things move forward from that. There's a constant battle. Lucy's trying to figure out who this kid is. Alice is trying to figure out who she is, that kind of thing. And I don't know if I want to give away the big twist in the in the movie, but again, it's all based on a hero's journey. And I wanted to make a cool little twist with it, where it's actually the beginning of the planet Earth. This is how Earth became to be, how humans came to be on Earth. It's a different look on how things came about here. It's not creation, it's not Big Bang. It's that we were actually brought here, sent here because of a galactic war that was going on. We were supposed to be the survivors to carry on the human race and to survive, because this galactic war seemed to be so bad and looked like it was going to ruin everything. And they kind of move forward. And you have, the protagonist who goes through the hero journey. You have a antagonist who, was close to the hero, the initial hero of the film, the king, but she's actually just an evil person who's trying to take over herself, take over everything herself. And there are a couple twists within the story I don't want to give away on here, but it's really cool. I think Colton has heard the twist once before, and I think he thought it was pretty cool. But I don't know, what do you guys think?
Have I? Have I?
Yeah.
I'd watch it. I'm off.
I mean,
one cough drop.
I'm sorry, you broke up there, Adam. Adam, you broke up a little bit there. I'm sorry.
Let's try this again. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, there we go.
All right. There's a lot there to take in, but I guess my main question, my main point of interest is a lot of history there. You've thought about this a lot, obviously, but where's the entry point? Where is the viewer sort of picking up the story and running with it? Are we starting on the planet?
Yeah,
arriving on the planet, or
no, the initial story, I always envisioned it right in the beginning. You're on that ship that's running away with the king. You're on that ship where they're trying to find an escape where they can go to save the human race and save them. And they're on the run right there at that point in time. That's where you start. And then you go to Earth. And then there's, I would say, in the story, whether you talk about a film or what have you, you're talking about like the first, like probably 20-30 minutes of the movie is about the king, about getting to Earth and everything like that. And then he goes away. And once he goes away, there's a time jump after that. Shortly after that, there's a time jump about 15-20 years to when the child is older, and starting to discover things herself and everything like that. That's kind of the way I looked at it.
I'm buying your script. One cough drop.
I don't have a script. I have a treatment for it.
One cough drop.
A complete treatment. I've been working out story ideas for the past couple of years.
Okay.
See Colton's cough drop and offer up a Mucinex as well. So
I'll get 1/4 of a Sunkist lemonade, 2 cough drops, and a firm handshake.
No, I'm not gonna lie. My initial pitch that I was going to do was going to be a Dragon Ball Z franchise, because I think it needs to be done in live action. I think it could be done. I think it could be excellent. That was going to be my initial one. And then I was going to say, you know what? There's a story that I've been working on for the better part of 15 years that I really, really want to get made at some point. And then you did your story, and I was like, that's kind of like mine, but not really kind of like mine. kind of like mine with the werewolves and the vampires and all that fun
That's
stuff.
the one I was thinking.
Yeah. I was gonna do that one. Then I was like, no, you know what? I want to get this one out. This one that I've been thinking about for a couple of years because actually, he who shall not be named,
he who shall not be named, dost thou even hoist.
Our former co-host Brian Keppel, he and I actually were putting this story together for some time, and he kind of went off on his own tangent while we were writing it. He started writing a different story, and I kind of just continued it myself. But it's so interesting. It's so different. You could put a lot of biblical undertones into it as well, and really just grab like the attention of a lot of people. The way I look at it is, you think of different movies, and I know this isn't a great movie, but look at a movie like Knowing with Nicolas Cage, where that's an apocalyptic movie. Mine's about the beginning of life on Earth. That one was more of apocalyptic, but there was a lot of religious undertones in there, but it's not right in your face. And that's kind of what I want to do with this, as have some religious undertones where the name of the antagonist, Lucy, is a different way of saying Lucifer. The king, God. That kind of thing, and as well as some different aspects, and obviously
Alice, kind of close to Jesus.
Yes, Alice, kind of close to Jesus.
There's an S in there somewhere.
And there's not an S in Alice.
You could spell it Alise.
Okay, well, maybe. So that's kind of my idea, and it could, the way I have that that movie ending. I think it's just fantastic, and maybe I'll tell you guys the ending, not on the air, because I don't want anybody to take my idea. But
I just threw mine out. Anybody steals, I'm mad.
No, because it's a cool twist. There's a cool twist. There's two twists to it, obviously, that I think are really cool, and you may see them coming. You may be sitting here like, oh, I figure what the twists are. You might see them. You might not. I don't know. I kind of like them, and then it ends on a cliffhanger, which I also love. I'm a stickler for cliffhangers. I love them.
Is it going to be a series or just one movie?
It could be a series, ending on a cliffhanger. Think of this cliffhanger like the end of Inception. How the end of Inception happens. You're like, well, what is it? They could, if they ever wanted to, they could make a sequel to Inception and explain further. They could. Not that they should. I'm not saying they should at all. But it's that kind of cliffhanger. It's just like, but wait a minute. You're thinking.
But wait till we're done recording. Inception 2 has now been confirmed.
Live news breaking. Second time that's happened on the podcast.
I wish. It's fun. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. And, just all of you guys that are out there listening to us, all four listeners, whatever it is, let us know. Throw us some of your movie pitches, whether it's something that you love. Like I said, I was going to initially pitch a Dragon Ball Z movie because the one that we got was horrible. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So join us on Facebook. You can find all the links to everywhere where you can contact us in the description here.
I do own a production company.
Hit us up on the Facebook group. You can email us at our email, theremotecontrol@gmail.com. Just let us know. Tell us what you would love to see as a movie. Pitch us a movie idea. We're going to do this more often. I think this movie pitch thing is kind of fun. I think once you really start to get into it and you start getting excited and everything like that, I just didn't know how to pitch the movie because I have this treatment that is about 30 pages long, and I'm trying to pick out important pieces, and I know I'm missing things. So when I'm saying it, I'm like, where did this dagger come from? Well, the dagger actually played a bigger role and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to figure out a pitch. I've never done a pitch before. So, but yeah, I don't know. Anybody else got anything to say? This was kind of a shorter episode, I think. I don't know how long we've been recording, but Colton's over there dabbing a bit. So
hitting them with the dab. No, I mean, I'm interested.
If I can make suggestions, maybe let the fans decide. Maybe put up have them vote on which pitch they thought maybe would work best as a property. Get them involved. Do some work.
On one episode, it already is miles beyond me involved.
I like that because it forces people to listen now. No, yeah, definitely like that. So definitely, if you listen, we are going to post it in the Facebook group. I'll post it on Twitter. I will put a poll up
I'll post it everywhere.
Yeah, I will put up a poll that's, just ask which idea do you think is best, and we'll go from there.
And guess what? Mine will probably be last because my approval rating is 0.00001.
That's promoted But yeah, you have the choice between 2 original and well thought out ideas and a reboot of an existing franchise. So I mean, go with the reboot. That's what everyone else does in Hollywood. Come on.
No. We want to be different from Hollywood.
I just want to be Domino's pizza.
Pizza does sound good right now, doesn't it?
Smack me with a breadstick. I deserve it.
All right. Well, I mean, I really don't have anything else to say.
You
here.
pointing at this makes it my cue. Okay,
Yeah, that's your cue. So again, you can find us at Facebook, Twitter, everything like that. Hey, Adam, do you have a Twitter account or anything people can reach at?
I have nothing. I'm good.
No, okay. Nobody likes Adam, I guess.
Adam doesn't like anybody.
Adam doesn't like anybody. That's what it is. Everybody loves Adam.
Yeah, but Adam's like, fuck off.
Everyone loves Adam.
So yeah, he's in our Facebook group. So if you want to reach out to him, just jump in the Facebook group. You can even tag him in there. And
he's the 5th listener.
The 5th listener, yeah. So again, this is a lot of fun. Thank you for joining with us, Adam, because I had a lot of fun. You definitely brought a little different type of vibe to the show and everything. I really liked it. Hopefully you join in a few more times or more often. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Colton, anything else from you? Good?
No, just what?
Your offer. I'm good.
Oh. Okay.
No, listen to Star Wars Talk this week.
Yeah, definitely. Check out Star Wars Talk. It's going to release this Wednesday. And yeah, I got nothing else here. So from everyone at the remote control, I've been Robert.
It's been Skinny P.
And Adam. There you go. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good week and see you next week. I said week too many times, didn't I?
It is what it is.
All right. Bye.